Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1 for the News First, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. Public sector salaries directed to banks. Protests continue against unjust tax policy and medicine shortage. Fawzi to return to Parliament after Mujibur resigns to contest for Colombo mayor. Central Bank maintains policy interest rates at current levels. PUCSL Chief and Energy Secretary at Human Rights Commission. Disease turning rice plants to yellow, spreading across many areas. Jacinda Ardern's successor, Chris Hipkins, sworn in as New Zealand Prime Minister. Now those stories in detail. Sri Lanka's finance ministry said that the necessary funds to pay the salaries of public sector employees were directed to the respective banks. A senior official at the finance ministry told Newsfirst that all public sector employees will get their salary for the month of January today. However, a series of protests, part of the Black Protest Week, are taking place across many areas in the country. The Black Protest Week is organized by the Professionals Trade Union Alliance.
In solidarity with Black Protest Week, protests were staged at several hospitals island-wide. The staff of the Kurunegala and Hambantota hospitals reported to work by wearing black bands.
The taxes have negatively affected the people. The cost of living is increasing while bank interest rates are also on the rise. When the public sector employees gets a salary after tax deduction, loan installments, he or she will be left with nothing. Yet the government is spending 200 million rupees for the Independence Day. We cannot continue like this. Listen to the people.
The program to obtain 1 million signatures to force the government to immediately address the medicine shortage and withdraw the unjust tax regime took place on Wednesday. The Government Medical Officers Association said that the government has disregarded all proposals to address the medicine shortage and in turn placed the burden on the general public. A protest was also staged at the Dehiyattakandiya hospital in line with the Black Protest Week.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has decided to maintain policy interest rates at their current levels. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka at its meeting held on the 24th of January 2023 decided to maintain the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate of the Central Bank at their current levels of 14.5% and 15.5% respectively. The board, having noted the recent unexpected developments and projections on the domestic and global macroeconomic fronts, was of the view that the maintenance of the prevailing tight monetary policy stance is imperative to ensure that monetary conditions remain sufficiently tight to rein in inflationary pressures.
Sri Lanka's Power and Energy Secretary and the Chairman of the Public Utilities Commission were informed to appear for an inquiry at the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka on Wednesday.
The summons was sent as the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka had observed that its directive to the Power and Energy Secretary and the Chairman of the Public Utilities Commission to take necessary measures to prevent power outages during the period of the advanced level examination had been disregarded. On Monday, the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka informed the Power and Energy Secretary and the Chairman of the PUCSL to take necessary measures to prevent power outages during the period of the advanced level examination, citing that power outages could negatively impact the studies of the candidates.
Sri Lanka's election headquarters.
Former Sri Lankan Minister A.H.M. Fawzi will re-enter Parliament following the resignation of Mujibur Rahman.
A Gazette notice was published on Wednesday naming former Sri Lankan Minister A.H.M. Fauzi to the parliamentary seat left vacant following the resignation of Mujibur Rahman. Former SJB parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman stepped down from parliament to contest for the mayor of Colombo at the upcoming local government election. Former Sri Lankan Minister A.H.M. Fauzi secured 48,701 votes from the SJB's Colombo district list at the 2020 parliamentary election.
Election monitors said the use of public property owned by local government institutions for election campaigning is on the rise. Executive Director of the Institute of Democratic Reforms and Electoral Studies, Manjula Gajanayaka, stated that immediate measures need to be implemented to end the abuse of public property.
A serious situation has emerged in line with the 2023 local government elections as a result of conducting the elections without dissolving the present local bodies. Reports of state properties being used for election campaigning has been noted, especially from the side of the SLPP with the assistance of certain officials. There was an incident reported from the Gampaha district. As a result, we have requested from the Election Commission to make a request to the authorities to dissolve the local bodies before conducting the elections.
State Minister Janaka Wakumura stated guidelines have been provided to obtain approval from the governor of the respective province prior to commencing any new activity by local government institutions. He further noted the required assistance will be provided to conduct a just and fair election.
We have spoken with our legal section to issue a set of guidelines and regulations to prevent the abuse of public property during the period of the local government election. We have already informed them not to launch any new project and suspend any distribution process. If ongoing projects are taking place, those can continue.
The National Election Commission, in a letter to the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, has inquired over the possibility of making available the facilities required for the upcoming election. The letters inquired the Central Bank's position to provide US dollars from the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and the Ceylon Electricity Board to supply electricity and fuel for the election. At the recent meeting with the National Election Commission, the CPC and the CEB had pointed out that they are short of US dollars to ensure a continuous supply of electricity. They had requested the National Election Commission to inquire from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka on supporting them to avert a dollar crisis. Views were expressed on the political sphere with regard to the local government election.
The government was anyway afraid of this. First they appointed a delimitation committee. Then they said youth representation is required. Now they say there are no funds. The budget is 7,000 billion rupees and the cost of the election is 10 billion rupees. The election can be conducted. It is clear the SLPP and UNP coalition will lose. The people are requesting for a change that is free of corruption and a governance that has a genuine interest about the country and one that can rescue the country from this trouble. This is the turning point. The economy of this country is in the process of reaching a stable position. However, this is not an appropriate time to go for an election. We are heading to the election so that the future generations can enjoy the democratic rights. The government is still engaging in a conspiracy to postpone the election or to cancel it. The government ministers are continuously providing reasons for this. It is a dangerous situation.
Sri Lanka's election headquarters.
Sri Lankan farmers who feed the nation are in a situation where they cannot even afford their own meals. This can be attributed to the diseases that is turning rice plants yellow, which is spreading across a plethora of paddy lands in the country.
Farmers from Hay and Kulawava that fall under the Mahasen Bedum Agrarian Organisation in Polonnaruwa commenced the Maha-season cultivation with high hopes. However, their dreams of a rich harvest were shattered by the disease that is turning rice plants into yellow. Farmers claim that around 800 acres of rice fields have been affected, leaving the farmers at a massive loss. Farmers also said that they immediately informed the authorities when they noticed the disease In the initial stages, however, relevant officials turned a blind eye to the issue. In addition, over 100 acres of rice fields in Ratnapura have also been affected by the disease that is turning rice plants into yellow. Another 6,000 acres of paddy land in the Rajangani agrarian settlement have been destroyed by the same disease. The Rice Research and Development Institute in Batalegoda said that tests have revealed that organic fertilizer was not a cause of rice plants to turn yellow. Director of the Rice Research and Development Institute, Dr. Jayanta Senanayaka, told Newsfirst that samples obtained from paddy lands and organic fertilizer samples obtained from the possession of farmers are being subject to test. He added that remedies are available to address the situation.
An armed gang have stolen an ATM that was set up at a private bank in the Gampula town.
Sri Lanka police said that the armed gang had arrived in a van, threatened the security officer of the bank and taken the time to remove the entire ATM from its platform. The exact amount of money stolen by the thieves is yet to be determined and a special police investigation is underway.
A series of religious events are taking place at the Sri Gautama temple at Dabare Mavata in Narayanpeta. Special pujas and dhamma sermons are among the events organized at the premises. One objective of the series of religious events to invoke blessings on Venerable Kopakande Sumanatissa Thero, the Chief Judicial Sanganayaka of the Sabaragamuwa province, who turned 80, to invoke blessings on Venerable Umalpe Sumanaratna Thero, who marked 40 years since he took robes, and to also invoke blessings on the devotees. In addition, blessings were invoked on all the students sitting for the advanced level examination in the midst of many challenges. Here's a look at the weather update for today. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts during the afternoon or night. Showers may occur in eastern and Uva provinces and in southern coastal areas during the morning. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Shifting your attention to international news, Chris Hipkins has been sworn in as New Zealand's 41st Prime Minister.
The 44-year-old was formally appointed to the role of Wellington a week after Jacinda Ardern's shock resignation. Ardern, 42, had said she no longer has enough in the tank to lead the country. The country's Governor-General Cindy Cairo accepted her formal resignation on Wednesday. Hipkins built a reputation as the minister who led New Zealand's COVID-19 strategy. At the ruling Labour Party's caucus of the weekend, Hipkins received unanimous support to be promoted to lead the country and now faces the uphill task of retaining power in the coming general election in October. Opinion polls have suggested that his party is trailing its conservative opposition, the National Party, in popularity. The country of 5 million was among the first to close borders. This move won plaudits for keeping New Zealand virus-free early in the pandemic, but frustration set in later among the Kiwis tired of zero-tolerance strategy, which saw nationwide lockdowns over single infection.
The European Court of Human Rights is set to announce whether it will hear a Dutch case against Russia over the downing of flight MH17 in 2014.
All 298 people on Malaysia's airlines flight were killed when it was shot down by a Russian-made missile fired by Moscow-backed Ukrainian separatists. The Dutch government argues that Russia's disinformation about Moscow's role in the incident is a violation of the relatives' human rights. Russia denies the allegations. The Boeing 777 was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur when it was hit by a surface-to-air missile in July 2014 during a conflict between pro-Russian rebels and Ukrainian forces in the Donbas region of Ukraine. The Netherlands argues that Russia played a key role in the air disaster and the case hinges on whether or not Moscow had effective control over the area of Ukraine where the missile was fired from.
After months of reluctance, the US and Germany reportedly plan to send tanks to Ukraine in what Kyiv hopes will be a game changer on the battlefield.
US President Joe Biden's administration is expected to announce plans to send at least 30 M1 Abrams tanks. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has also reportedly decided to send at least 14 Leopard 2 tanks. Russia's ambassador to the US blasted the news as another blatant provocation. Ukrainian officials have said such shipments could help its forces seize back territory from the Russians. Until now, the US and Germany have resisted internal and external pressure to send their tanks to Ukraine. Washington has cited the extensive training and maintenance required for the high-tech Abrams.
In your sports news, India have leaped to the top of the ICC men's ODI team rankings following their win over New Zealand in the third and final ODI on Tuesday. India defeated New Zealand by 90 runs in the third ODI. Shardul Thakur helped boost the total, and the pair also played a key role with the ball. But again, it was Hardik Pandya who chipped in with a 36-ball 50 to power India to 385 for 9 in 50 overs. New Zealand had an early jolt as Pandya removed Finn Allen off the very second ball of the chase. But then Devon Conway and Henry Nicholls stitched a 106-run stand for the second wicket. Once the later departed, the Kiwis started the loss of wickets at regular intervals. However, Conway kept the fight on and scored 138 runs off just 100 deliveries. As the New Zealand opener lost his wicket to Imran Malik, the victory seemed closer for India. Kuldeep and Shardul picked up 3 wickets each, while Chahal bagged a couple. From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV Bond. For details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin.